Heart, 90.1 FM, Jackson, Mississippi.
It's 7 a.m. Let's rise and shine. So talks money, the future's alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author, Mr. Educator, too, sharing the wealth, building things you should do. From trust to banking, it's all of us. Your guide to wealth is money and trust. Legacy matters, secure it right. Dreams take shape with every insight. Rules and assets, life insurance plans, building for your future with expert hands. So talks money and more. Building wealth with knowledge galore. Protection plans to grow. To dream and watch your dreams overflow. From day to day, you trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. From day to day, you trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. So tune in now, it's time to learn. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is all talks money and more.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine for another edition of So Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor. Opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted and I am so excited and so delighted to be here this first Monday in October. Yeah. We have officially reached autumn. We have officially reached fair season, Mr. Jones, fair season. We have officially reached October. And you know, if it's October, we are pulling out that pink. Ladies and gentlemen, we're pulling that pink out the closet because we know that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yes, it is time, ladies, to get those tatas checked to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. Good morning to you, my WMPR and my WGDQ listening audience, as well as my YouTube and my Facebook viewing audience. Facebook, we've been missing in action, MIA on Facebook lately, but hey, we're back, Facebook, and we want to welcome you to this edition of So Talks Money and More. I see we have California IA checking in early this morning. Good morning to my California viewers. It's 7 a.m. here, so it's 5 a.m. there, and they are up and listening to the show this morning, tuned in, and we thank you for being here with us, family and friends. Now, as I was saying, it is officially Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What I found interesting is a statistic that we may be aware of or we may not be aware of. And you know, this is an educational platform, so we're here to make sure that you are enlightened. About 1 in 3 breast cancer diagnoses, that is, will be breast cancer. Okay, 1 in 3 will be breast cancer. And this is according to the American Cancer Society. So that's about 30%, right? I want to let that resonate with you. 30% of the cancer diagnoses will be breast cancer. Now, ladies, that's big for us. But men, don't think that you're excluded, because men can be diagnosed with breast cancer too. Now, while we are dealing with that 30% statistic, one that we may not be aware of is only about 30% of us have actually done anything when it comes to estate planning. Well, October is not only Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it is also National Estate Planning Awareness Month. And I want to start the show by recognizing that as well, because that is what we will be talking about throughout the month of October. Now, you remember September was Life Insurance Awareness Month, and we spent a whole month. We brought in the experts. We talked about life insurance. So this month, we are going to move the discussion to breast cancer awareness. Not breast cancer awareness. You guys, I'm looking at this screen and it went blank on me, went different on me over here. So I went out, zoomed out on you, but I'm back now. Okay, we're talking estate planning awareness this month, estate planning awareness. And the reason why we're talking about it is because some of us may be under the misperception that estate planning is just about paperwork and legal documents. And that is far from true. It is not just about that. It's about protecting what we've built, making sure our families are secure, and breaking cycles that have too often left our people vulnerable. We've got to do some things different, family. We have got to do some things different. Estate planning is about making sure that our voices are heard even when we are no longer here to speak for ourselves. It's about leaving behind direction instead of confusion, legacy instead of loss. Now, if any of that sounds familiar, if that sounds like something you feel like you need a little bit more education and understanding about, you have reached the right place this morning. For those that may just be tuning in, welcome to the show. This is So Talks Money and More. We're right here in Jackson, Mississippi at WMPR 90.1 FM. WGDQ 93.1 FM, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube. This month, we are going to be talking about estate planning and the importance of estate planning, specifically in the African American community. Okay, so what is estate planning? Good morning, WGDQ. I see you checking in this morning. What is estate planning? Estate planning is actually the process of putting together legal and financial tools in place to protect your assets, provide for your loved ones, and make sure that your wishes are honored when you pass away. And if you become unable to make decisions for yourself. It includes things like wills, trusts, power of attorney, and healthcare directives. In other words, it's about taking control of the future instead of leaving it up to chance. And we're going to break all of that down all month long. We're talking estate planning, so don't leave me. Come on back, tune on in. If you have to leave before we finish our discussion at any time, we are streaming to our YouTube channel. That is I Am So Noted, IAM S.E.W NOTED, as well as Facebook, I Am So Noted. So go on back over there and catch the replay of the show if you have to leave, because we don't want you to miss anything. This is some very important information. Now, for Black families, estate planning is, as I say, it's more than paperwork. It's an act of empowerment. I want you to think about that. Too often, families lose land, businesses, homes, and wealth because there's no plan in place when someone in our families dies. No plan whatsoever. And without an estate plan, the state, your state, decides what happens to your property, not you, your state. So even if you don't have a plan for your estate has a plan for your estate. Probate courts tend to step in. That process can be expensive, it can be time consuming, and it can be stressful. But when we plan, we can keep our wealth in our families, protect our children, and make sure our legacies live on. And as I say, we're going to break it all down. We're not going to leave you clueless about any of this. Now, I do want to offer this disclaimer before we get into this discussion of estate planning. I am not an attorney, nor do I have a desire to be an attorney. I have a PhD, not a JD. So everything that I will be sharing on this show throughout this month in regards to estate planning is for educational purposes, okay? I am an educator. That's what I do. So we are trying to increase the level of knowledge, information, and understanding within our community. I gotta give you that disclaimer. Dr. Williams is not even trying to be an attorney. I have been in school most of my adult life. I'm a lifelong learner. But what I do not have a desire to be at this point in my life is an attorney. So I'm not trying to present this information from that standpoint. However, there is too much in our community that we don't know, that we don't understand, for me to be silent on this particular subject. So I'm here to do what I do, and that is to educate my people. Now, in talking to my people, I find that there are reasons why we don't do this, because we don't understand a lot. We have reasons why we don't do our estate planning. So today, we're going to start this discussion around the 6 reasons why Black families fail to complete estate planning. And I want you to stay with me. If you're just joining the show, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see we have more people tuned in on YouTube. We want to welcome you to this discussion on estate planning. Now, 6 reasons why we fail to complete estate planning. The first of those reasons is the fear of the death conversation. The fear of the death conversation. Now, quite simply put, you guys, most of us don't like talking about death. We don't, especially when it's our own. Now, we will talk about who died, whose body is at the funeral home, and, when they putting this person away and what happened with other folks. But when it comes to our own mortality, we tend to shy away from it. We feel like talking about death, it feels taboo for many of us. So we avoid those conversations about what happens after we're gone because it feels uncomfortable for us. And we got to be comfortable. We don't like being uncomfortable. But the reality is, not talking about it doesn't really stop it from happening. It just leaves your loved ones unprepared. We got to elevate our conversations, family. Not talking about death does not make it go away. It will happen at some point. It will happen to us. Again, when we don't talk about it, when we don't open ourselves up to learning about how we can position ourselves and protect our families, we leave them in a very vulnerable position. So we're here, as I say, to discuss. We're going to roll this back. We're talking about the 6 reasons why Black families fail to complete their estate plan. And number 3 is really going to shock you guys. Number 3, so hang on. If you're just joining us this morning, welcome to the show. We're going to roll this back all month long. We're talking about estate planning because it is National Estate Planning Awareness Month. So moving on, number 2. Another reason why we don't talk about this is because there is a lack of knowledge on the subject within our community. That's why Dr. Williams is here to help with this. Again, I told you, I'm not coming at you from a legal perspective. So all of my attorney friends that are tuned in this morning, please don't cringe. I'm not trying to step on your toes. But what I am trying to do is elevate, enlighten, inform, and educate our community because there is a lack of knowledge. Many of us simply do not know what estate planning is or why it's important. We have no idea why and how it impacts us. If no one ever tells us, we won't know the difference between a will, a trust, a power of attorney, healthcare directive, guardianship documents. We don't know any of this stuff. If nobody ever explains to us what probate is and why we don't want our families to go through that process, if possible, we won't know where to start. And that is what's happening in our community. This lack of information is leading to delays. It's leading to procrastination. It's leading to us not doing anything. And ultimately, what it leads to is us losing or missing opportunities to pass on wealth to our families, to pass our money on to our families. Instead, we're passing our money on to the probate court. Okay, that's where our money is going. We're losing a lot of it because we are not informed. We are not knowledgeable of the things that we need to do. So lack of knowledge, one of the 6 reasons why Black families are not properly preparing their estates, why we're not doing estate planning. Now, number 3, I told you to hold on because this one right here, this is a shocker for me. There are literally people that think, there won't be a fight over my estate. My estate, nobody's going to be fighting over what I have. Some people believe they don't need an estate plan because either they only have one child or because their children all, get this, get along. Okay, everybody in my family gets along. We're a close-knit family. Well, I may not know much about death and dying, but one thing I know for sure, and 2 things I know for certain. I have lived long enough and experienced enough deaths in my own family to know that death has a way of bringing out the absolute worst in people. Y'all hear me this morning? Y'all know what I'm talking about. People tend to lose their natural born lives when when people die. We lose our minds. I don't know if it's grief or in some instances it may be greed. I don't know. It's nice to think that people will not fight once you're gone, but we have a way of fighting over the most minute things. It doesn't have to be a lot. And some of these older people, you guys, when they die, during their lifetimes, they may not have amassed a whole lot monetarily as far as estates go, but we find the most, as I say, minute things to fight and fuss over. Who's going to get Big Mama's hat collection? Who's going to get Granny's Bible? Who's going to get her shoe collection? We fight and we fall out and start speaking to our relatives over this stuff. So that idea that because you don't have very much, your family is not going to fight. No. Please get over that stinking thinking. I tell you, folks will fight, okay? Now, the 4th reason, we're talking about the 6 reasons why Black families fail to complete their estate planning is because of this belief that they simply, I don't have enough. I don't have enough to be considered an estate. I'm not wealthy. I'm not like those rich folks. I don't have a fancy mansion on a hill. I don't have a Lamborghini and a Porsche and, a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW. I don't have all these things, Dr. Williams. So why do I need to worry about doing any type of estate planning? Well, here's the truth. You may not have all those things, but if you have something, you still have your estate. Okay. And the truth of the matter is, no matter the size of your home, no matter the size of your car, if you have children, if you have even a small savings account, you have something worth protecting. Remember, estate planning is not just about passing on your stuff when you die. You got to protect some things, okay? You got to protect your health. You got to protect your voice, your right to make decisions about your own care. Because one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, again, you may get sick, but you may not die. All sickness is not unto death, okay? Talk to some of these folks that made it through COVID. They'll tell you they got really sick. They were in positions where they could not make decisions for themselves. So we have to get beyond this belief that I am not going to do this or I don't need to do this. This does not apply to me because I don't have enough assets. There are other reasons why you should be doing this. A good estate plan is not just about how many assets you have. It also addresses things like, how will your beneficiaries receive their assets? Do you want them to receive it all in one lump sum? Now, do that a lot of times. We'll name people as beneficiaries and we'll leave them that 25, 30, 40, $50,000 life insurance policy. And for many folks, if they are not properly educated, if they have not been taught, if they're not financially responsible, that money is gone before you get coal in that grave. I'm just going to tell it like it is. It's gone. It's spent. Okay. It's not invested. It's not used to continue building wealth. We don't do a good job at this. Okay. So you may have to think about, you may need to think about how your beneficiaries will actually receive the assets that you leave behind. You also need to think about and give some consideration to who will actually administer your estate. Who do you want to handle that? There are some things that we got to think about that move far beyond just the assets, okay? And not having enough. Who will take care of you when you can no longer take care of yourself? You want to be a part of that discussion and those decisions. If you plan properly, you allow yourself to be a part of the conversation. However, when you don't plan properly, anybody could end up taking care of you. Anybody. You could be placed in places that you would have never wanted yourself to be. So there are so many other things beyond just the assets aspect of it that we've got to start being open to considering when it comes to estate planning. If nothing else, I want you to think about it. Having an estate plan can make things so much easier on the ones you leave behind after your death. Now, I've shared this story before, and I'm going to share it again. I recently had 2 phone calls, and I'm going to tell you about one right now. One phone call I received was from the son of one of my sorority sisters, and this has been probably 3 weeks or so ago. Now, he says to me, Miss Sabrina, he says, I don't know what you said to my mom. He said, but I just called to tell you she was listening to you. She was listening to you. She made this process so seamless for me and my brother. She did what she needed to do. So she left her children in a space where they were able to grieve and not have to worry about how this is going to be taken care of and how that's going to be handled. My dear sister was not from here, you guys. She was from Louisiana. I'm talking right now to people all over the country, but I'm here in Mississippi. And I'm appealing to you, my fellow Mississippians. What are you doing? Are you listening? You tuned in this morning, but are you really listening to me? And I mean, when we are listening, what do we talk? What does the word say? Don't just be hearers of the word, be doers of the word. Dr. Williams told you back last year in 2024, the word for 2025 was implementation. I can give you the information, I can give you the education, but unless and until there is implementation, your situation is not going to change. And so I am so honored that my dear sorority sister listened. Not only did she listen, she got her affairs in order and she left her family in a position where they could grieve without having to worry. So again, this idea that I don't have enough assets to have to be worried about putting together an estate plan. Got to get rid of that stinking thinking, people. We got to get rid of it. Now, another reason, if you're just joining us, we are talking about the 6 reasons Black families fail to complete their estate planning. October is National Estate Planning Awareness Month, and we are bringing us into this conversation about estate planning. We're highlighting the importance of estate planning for our community. So we've talked about number 1 being a fear of death, number 2 being a lack of knowledge, number 3 being this idea that nobody's going to be fighting over my estate, number 4 being the belief that I simply don't have enough assets. Number 5. Okay, now this one here is going to get you to cost concerns. That's way too expensive. I can't afford that. I don't have money for that. Well, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. The truth is, yeah, it does cost. It costs just like everything else. Everything has a price on it. But the interesting thing is we pay for those things that we deem important. We deem important. We plan for those things that we deem important. You ask the average person, people spend thousands of dollars on weddings. They spend literally thousands of dollars on a wedding, and some of these folks don't stay together but 6 months. But they just spent $30, $40, $50,000 on a ceremony. We spend thousands of dollars on vacations, going on cruises and other elaborate vacations. We spend thousands of dollars on education. We spend on what we deem important, buying houses, buying cars. Right now, you go buy a new car, you're likely to spend $60,000, $70,000 on a car. But the one thing that is certain to happen, one thing that's pretty certain to happen in our lives is death. We don't plan for it, and we find that it's too expensive for us to do our estate planning. Well, there's this thing called a price. A price. Everything has a price. Now, we can just make up our minds that we're either going to pay the price that people charge us to do these estate plans, or our families, our loved ones, those that we leave behind, will ultimately end up paying the cost because we did not do them. Well, what type of costs are you talking about, Dr. Williams? I'm talking about things like probate fees, court costs, family disputes. These things can be very, very expensive, guys. Generally, probate costs on average range between somewhere like maybe $4,000 to $7,000, or 3 to 8% of your the value of your estate can be lost to probate costs alone. Okay. So that's a lot of money. That's money that could literally be left to your family. I want you to think about something just for a point of reference, okay? Godfather Soul. You remember him, Mr. Jones, don't you? Who was Godfather Soul? Come on, talk to me. Talk to me this morning. James Brown. That was the Godfather Soul. They tell me that was the first black man to own his own private plane. That brother was doing it back in the day. He wasn't just hitting those splits for nothing, wearing that hair slicked back. Well, Brother James Brown amassed a lot, you guys, a huge fortune. But unfortunately, James Brown had some other issues that he was dealing with. James Brown had some cheering. You hear me? Some cheering that was kind of here, there, and everywhere. And so folks started fighting over that estate when Brother James Brown passed away. Now, as I understand it, he did have a will. He left behind a will. But when folks got to fighting and contesting and carrying on, they tell me it took about 20-some years to actually get through probate.
Dr. Williams, would you run down the list real quick? Just real quick.
That's another show. That's another show, Mr. Jones. I'm saving that. That's some good stuff. I can't give it all to him this morning, Mr. Jones. I can't give it all to him in one setting. I got to feed him in bite-sized pieces. I'm just teasing this morning. We're going to run down those celebrities that had some estate issues. But for right now, I am trying to talk to us about these, not excuses. Oh, I almost said the E word. The E word. No, our reasons. And I just said that in my earth, wind, and fire voice. Our reasons for not properly planning our estates. Cost concerns. Well, let me just roll it back. We as a community, y'all know what I'm about to say, because y'all know how I feel about this. If you've watched me, if you follow me anytime, you know how I feel about this. We spend in this economy anywhere from $1.3 to $1.8 trillion annually. So I said that to say we pay for We pay the price for the things that we value. We pay the price for those things. However, when it comes to things that we really need to be spending our money on, a lot of times we want to haggle over the cost of things, okay? We want to haggle over the cost. So my thing this morning is, Dr. Williams is here to tell you, we can either pay the price or we are going to pay the cost at some point. Our families will pay the cost. Now, the last reason, and I'm so happy we're getting right here at the break, I want to talk about number 6, this idea that we're too young. A lot of our young folks, a lot of our young listeners, we're too young to have to worry about that right now. I hear that. I talk to people. I was talking to a young man when we were down in Hattiesburg, Mr. Jones, in his mid-20s. And he said to me, I'm going to get some life insurance probably a couple of years from now when I get about 28, 29. When I hear young people say, I'm going to wait until I get older, what they're really saying is, I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. Because the reality is, we know that young people don't die, right? They live forever. They never become incapacitated, nor does anything bad or unexpected happen to them, right? No, we know that is not right. We know that's not right. Just Saturday morning, I opened up my Facebook and I saw a post that was shared by my friend, Brother Ray McGee. You guys know Brother Ray over at the Voice of Calvary. Good morning to you, Brother Ray, if you're listening to the show this morning. This is how his Facebook post read. She was so young, yet it is appointed unto all of us to die, young, middle-aged, or elderly. Laquita, my niece, left us tonight, suddenly and so unexpectedly at age 27. My heart pains, especially for her 2 children, babies, and the fact that she left us. Family, it is easy to procrastinate when it comes to creating an estate plan when you are not on your deathbed or when you're not incapacitated. And until you are faced with mortality head on, it can be difficult to grasp the importance of organizing your affairs. But the reality is people are dying younger and younger and younger. Death does not discriminate. Man does, but not death. It does not care that you're only 27 years old with 2 small babies that you're leaving behind. We got to elevate this conversation. Right now, I'm going to get ready to take a station break because I have a guest that is joining us. And this is a wonderful time for this young lady who got up really early this morning to join this conversation. And she is calling in from the East Coast. I want to bring her on. I'm not going to tell you too much. We're going to save it to after the station break, and we're going to let her join the conversation. So, Mr. Jones, I'm going to throw it back to you and give us this station break this morning, and we're going to come on back and continue this conversation.
Hello, this is Dr. Sabrina Edmund Williams, educator, author, investor, and host of So Talks Money and More. You are invited to start your week with me at 7 a.m. on Mondays, right here at WMPR 90.1 FM or online at WMPR90.1.com as we educate and enlighten.
Okay, Jamira, I'll be live in just a second.
Okay, no problem. Protecting and transferring wealth. If it's Monday, so is talking money and more. So Talks Money and More is a proud underwriter of WMPR 90.1 FM.
All righty. We're back. We're back. If you're just tuning in, thank you for joining me this morning. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, right here at WMPR 90.1, WGDQ 93.1 FM, as well as live on YouTube, as well as Facebook. Good morning. Good morning. I see you. I see you this morning. Thank you for tuning in. We are officially at the start of National Estate Planning Awareness Month. Now, I know y'all thought it was Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it is. And Dr. Williams is representing. Y'all see me with these pink pens on. I'm representing. But I am also advocating for awareness within the African American community on the importance of estate planning. So if you missed the first half of the show, we are rolling back reasons why our community avoids this conversation of estate planning, reasons why we really just don't get it done. We talked about them, we rolled them back, and I'm just going to go ahead and give you the rundown right quick because I have a guest on the line and I need you all to listen up, tune in. Okay, so 6 reasons Black families fail to complete estate planning. Number 1, we talked about that fear of the death conversation. Number 2, we talked about the lack of knowledge. Number 3, we talked about this mindset that ain't nobody gonna be fighting over my estate. You think? Really? Number 4, we talked about this belief that I just don't have enough. I don't have enough assets, so I don't need to worry about all that. That's for them rich folks. Number 5, we talked about cost being a concern. And number 6, we wrapped it up by talking about how some folks just think they are too young to even have to worry about any of this stuff right now. And we know that's absolutely not true because young folks are dying all the time. Well, recently, and for all of you that followed the show, you know I was truly excited a few months back about this big event that I attended over in Atlanta, GA, called InvestFest. We had about 25,000 people from all over the world that showed up and showed out in Atlanta. We saw Black folks at their finest. We saw business folks that were, investing, that were talking investment. We saw the celebrities. They were in the house. Well, I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people, you guys, from all over the country. And I had the absolute pleasure of meeting a wonderful young person, young lady, who not only stopped by, purchased my book, engaged me in conversation, and reached out to me when she got back home. She reached out. She followed up with me. We scheduled a Zoom meeting for not only her, because sometimes it's difficult to broach the conversation with family and friends about the importance of estate planning. So she says to me, Dr. Williams, can you help me with this? I said, absolutely, my pleasure. We scheduled it. We showed up, and I learned something last night from this young lady, that she is what I call an implementer. She's an implementer. She didn't just buy the book. She read the book. Not only did she read the book, she implemented. She implemented what she read, you guys. Shout out to you, my friend, my sorority sister, bringing you on the show this morning. Welcome, Miss Jamira McCarter to the show. Welcome. How you doing, love?
Good morning. I'm well. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so happy that you are on this call. Now, for our listening audience, I need you to tell them your age, sweetie. How old are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm 28.
She said 28. 28. You're married?
Yes.
You have children?
Yes, I have 2 children. I have a 1-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son.
1-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. Now, question for you. So why did you attend InvestFest, first of all?
I attended InvestFest for more exposure and more understanding of finances. I'm an accountant by trade, but just because I understand how numbers work in this business does not mean that I understand how they work in my personal finances. And also just more exposure for my husband. I can talk the numbers all day long, but sometimes it's hard for him to interpret the information I'm saying because I'm so analytical and just like by the book.
Okay. So you were seeking education. You were seeking information. So you invested. You saw that this information was there. You saw this as an opportunity. So you invested. You didn't attend InvestFest for free, right?
No, ma'am.
You paid the price to be in the room to get the information, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you invested in your education, even though you are an educated person. You hold a degree, right?
Yes.
So what you're saying is education does not stop simply because you walk across the stage and you throw that cap in the air.
Yes, you learn more in life than you do in the books.
Okay, she said you learn more in life. Life has a way of teaching you more than those books ever will teach you, especially when it comes to this thing called finances and financial stewardship. So I can agree with you on that. And I am so proud of you being a 28-year-old that you took that approach. Now, you were at InvestFest and you stopped by my booth. And what made you decide to purchase the book? Just curious.
Yes, so I already had a brief understanding of what trusts were, but just like everybody else, I'm like, I don't have enough assets. I don't. It's not going to be valuable to me. I have to make it quote unquote first. But I appreciate the title of the book, Learning to Trust, and I'm big on okay, maybe even if I can't implement this information now, I can still take the information I'm receiving. It's also nice to see someone who looks like me that is sees the value in these kind of things. So it's like a push. And I enjoyed our conversation as well, too.
Okay, great. So representation matters, you guys. And that's what I just heard her say. At the university, I am one of a very small percentage of African Americans in this country that holds a doctorate degree in engineering. So when I was professionally in the workforce at the academy, representation always mattered because I knew there were not a lot of people that looked like me. But representation also matters in the community, you guys. It matters for people to see us and for them to know that we know certain things and that we are willing to share our knowledge and our experiences with them. It matters. So I thank you so much for seeing that I wanted the best for you, that I was trying to inform, enlighten, and educate you. I thank you for that. Okay. Now, another question I want to ask you. So you read the book. How was it for you reading the book? Did you find it difficult to read? Was it, a long, tedious process for you? How was reading the book for you?
Honestly, it was an easy read, very straightforward. The chapters gave really good examples and different scenarios that I think are very relevant to our community. So I ended up reading the book in 3 days. I spaced it out a little bit just because I do have young children and they needed my attention. But I was like, I need to read the next chapter. Like, what else can I learn? What else can what do I need to write down? What else I need to discuss with my husband? So I definitely thought it was a great read. Okay. So now it's one thing to buy the book. It's a totally separate thing to buy it and read it. Now, what Dr. Williams is trying to get our community to understand, again, I say this, I can give you the information and I can give you the education, but unless and until there is implementation, your situation is not going to change. It's going to stay the same. So at what point did you say, I bought this book. I've now read this book. It's time to implement, because that's what got me excited last night on that Zoom call when you said, Dr. Williams, I read it and I went ahead and I acted on that information. What moved you to do that? So I saw a post on LinkedIn about a CSP that I was connected with, also doing estate planning. So they had another webinar. So after I read your book, they had a webinar and they was like, we do estate planning. And I was like, okay, perfect. This lines up perfectly. I just finished reading this book. I have somebody who can help me set it up. There's no time to waste. And I just look at it like it could be unfortunate if something does happen to me or my husband. But life insurance isn't enough. And I just want to make sure that if something does happen to us, that our children are taken care of. And even if one, God forbid, one of us is incapacitated in the hospital, that it's known, it's more than this is my husband, he's my power of attorney. Let's put in writing, because I understand that putting stuff in writing goes a lot farther than word of mouth.
Okay. So, last month, we did a whole month of education on the importance of having life insurance in the African American community. One thing that we talked about, and I don't need you to give, specific numbers because that's your personal business. But another thing that we talked about last night was the fact that you have life insurance. And I mean, you got you some life insurance. So you planning on leaving something for your family to build on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what made you say, there are people, and we talked about the fact that in our community, a lot of times people will go and they may get a, $10, $15, $20,000 policy. What made you decide that just was not enough for you and your family?
So actually, I was reading another book about finances. It's called Get Good with Money. And in that book, there was a calculation of how you should set up your life insurance. So I don't remember the formula verbatim, but I do remember one part of it was saying that 10 times your current income, and then calculate what your so a certain percentage you think you will increase your income by the time you retire. So, and then also adding your assets, so the value of our house, the value of how much money not student loans, but how much money I would want for my children's education. So factoring in all of those numbers helped build out the number that I was looking for, or that I got insurance for.
Okay, so you took a very comprehensive approach, and I can certainly appreciate that. And I know you got to go to work, sweetie, so I'm not going to hold you on much longer. I do want to allow you just about 60 seconds to just kind of tell our listening audience, because we have people that are viewing us on YouTube, we have people that are viewing on Facebook, and we have people that are listening on 2 different radio stations. So as a 28-year-old, what would be your I guess your closing remarks as it relates to the importance of estate planning for our community?
I would say first thing, now is better than ever, because you never know what can happen to you or who's a part of your beneficiary. So my children, I don't know what happens to them. I don't know what happens to my husband. And also, I would just say that a big thing that I thought about in your book that I read about was just what could happen to your property. And that could be, your property could also be your vehicle. So if it's saying on paperwork that you're the owner of it, but it wasn't written down after you pass away who it should go to, now technically the state can go to it. And now I'm learning more and more that everybody else makes money off of you. And now if this is going into, so now, what was the word again? I'm sorry, probate, correct. Yes. So now if the state and the courts are handling your information, the judge is making money off of you, the lawyers are making money off of you, you already passed away, and that's less money that your family is getting from the asset that you were passing down to them. And that's another reason I'm just like, oh, no. If something happens to me tomorrow, automatically it goes to my kin. Okay. And that's like a really big thing for me. Okay. Well, we thank you so much. And just so that I want to make sure that we make a point of letting people know. As I said, I met you in Atlanta. We had never met before. You just happened to stop by my booth. You purchased a book from me. Where are you located? Philadelphia. You're in Philadelphia. Okay. Philadelphia, as in Mississippi, Philadelphia, Mississippi? No, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is Philadelphia, Mississippi. There is a Philadelphia, Mississippi, sweetie. You didn't know you were going to get a geography lesson this morning. Yes, there is a Philadelphia, Mississippi, but she is in Pennsylvania. So I shared that to say to my listening audience, my local listening audience, people are listening. People that are in other states, as I mentioned earlier, my sorority sister was in Louisiana. People are listening to what Dr. Williams is trying to say. Jamera, thank you so much for calling in this morning. Best of wishes to you. If we can help you any more on your journey, you have my contact information. Just holla. You know I'm here. Okay? Gotcha. Thank you so much. Yes, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again for having me. Thank you for joining, sweetheart. Take care. Thank you.
All right, family, you heard it. You heard it from the horse's mouth. We had a 28-year-old that is taking the approach that I'm not too young. I am not too young to get this stuff right. We have got to do better. We have got to do differently. Now, if a 28-year-old who lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, can step up and get her stuff right, I don't know my line sister's age. I would venture to say she was probably in her 60s. But if she could step up and get her stuff together, what's stopping you? What is stopping you? You know, sometimes I sit here and I feel like Noah. Noah told his folks, it's going to rain, it's going to rain, this rain is coming. Folks looked at him like he was crazy. We ain't seen no rain. What you talking about? It ain't no rain here. What you talking about, Noah? I feel the same way sometimes. I am ringing the alarm. I'm telling my people, we have got to do different. We've got to do better. And yet, sometimes I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. Like she's talking, but she ain't talking to me. Well, get the mirror. Yes, I am. If you have not done what you need to do, and only you know that, I don't know that. If you have not done what you need to do, then yes, I'm talking to you. If you have aging parents and you know that they have not done what they need to do, guess what? I'm talking to you. Because the reality is, for many of us, myself included, we have to lead on those efforts. We lead because we will be the ones left with the mess, trying to manage the mess that's left behind. So we need to lead. We need to lead in that regard. A lot of things may not happen to us in life, you guys, but if we live long enough, we know that death is one of those things that is certain to come. We need to start preparing properly. Now, again, information. You guys know about the book. I talked about the book on air. I came to the radio station talking about this book, Learning to Trust: The Black Family's Guide for Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth. The book is available for purchase on Amazon, the ebook, electronic book. So if that's your preferred reading method, go on over to Amazon and get the ebook. It is there. If you want a physical copy of the book, however, you can only get that by going to my website, which is I am so noted, IAMSEW, NOTED.co, not com.co. Go get your copy today, or attend one of my live events, which I do have one that will start this Wednesday. I will be doing a 6-session series on estate planning. I have partnered with New Horizon International, their Rankin County campus, which is on Flowood Drive, right down the street from Merit Health Hospital. We will be doing 6 weeks of training. The training is available at no cost, free. So for all the folks that have cost concerns, don't worry about it. It's absolutely free. The only thing it's going to cost you is an investment of your time. Okay, so we want you to come on out and join us. It's on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. We will meet for about an hour and we are teaching. Okay, we're not passing on any legal advice. So I don't want any of my attorney friends to get all up in arms. We are simply teaching folks what terminology means. We're breaking down the conversation and we're advocating to get this stuff done. So if you're available on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock, please join us at the live session. Now, for those of you that say, well, Dr. Williams, I go to Bible study on Wednesday night. Okay. That's okay too. We thought about you too. We are streaming the training to our YouTube channel. That's I Am So Noted. I Am So Noted. So you can join us live. If you are out of state, we know we have a lot of out of state viewers. You can join the training live, or you can go back at some other time and watch the training in its entirety. It will be on the YouTube channel. We're doing what we need to do. This is National Estate Planning Awareness Month. We are ringing the alarm. We are trying to make sure that our community is educated. Now, you guys, again, I am an educator. I am not an entertainer. I'm not here to make you laugh. It's too much going on. Too much going on, and we sitting around a lot of times laughing. And ain't a doggone thing funny about dying and leaving your family behind with a mess. Ain't nothing funny about that. So I'm not here to entertain you, but what I am here to do is to educate you and your family. So if you know that this is a conversation that is hard for you to have with your family, if you know you have not had this conversation, we encourage you, we invite you to come on out and be a part of this training. It's free training. The only thing it costs you is an investment of your time. Again, it starts at 7 p.m. Wednesday, October the 8th. This Wednesday, 2 days from now, we will be there training our community. Training our community so we can give you the information. We're giving you the education. We have a platform to help connect you to get the implementation piece of it done as well. So we can help you with all of it. All of it. The reality is no man knows. No man knows. We know that our days are numbered, but we don't know what the number is, nor do we know when that number will be up. So we got to do something, people. I'm sorry. We have a huge wealth gap in our community. And every time we die and we don't leave behind our affairs in order, we increase that gap for our families. We increase it. So you can leave behind your money, or you can leave behind a mess. You choose. You choose. It doesn't have to be this way. Just because your grandmama and them left it that way for your parents, and just because your parents left it that way for you, it should be your goal not to leave it that way for your family. Come on, let's break some generational curses. Let's break some cycles here. We can do better. We can do better. Now, family, as we close out today, I want you to remember this. Estate planning is not just about money. It's not just about the money. It's about love. It's about making sure your children, your spouse, your siblings, and even your community are not left to struggle when you're gone. October is National Estate Planning Awareness Month, but this work doesn't end when this month does. No, it does not. It didn't start when the month started. It does not end when the month ends. We owe it to ourselves and to future generations to build a foundation they can stand on. We've worked too hard, and come too far to let our legacies be lost in probate court or divided by conflict. Let's take action. Let's plan, and let's make sure our voices are heard for generations to come. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. This has been Monday's edition of So Talks Money and More. For those of you that did not catch the show in its entirety, please go over to my YouTube channel. I am So Noted. That's IAMSEWNOTED, and catch the replay. And if you caught today's show, we invite you to join us on Wednesday night, this Wednesday night, October the 8th at 7 p.m., whether you do that virtually or in person. We'd love to see you there. And if we don't see you there, we want to see you right back here next Monday, same time, same place. Peace.
The music.
views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views or policies of WMPR Radio, its management, supporters, or affiliates. WMPR reserves the right to